Oh, already 45 people here. That was quick. I guess that's what happens when I announce it on my Facebook and Instagram Awakening channels. Oh, I forgot to put it on a post for my YouTube members. Oh, well, they'll show up. Hi, Angela. Hi, Ashley. So, it is a heck of a week, Angela. There's this interesting realization. Now, what did I title this video? Something about what if the unthinkable is already true? So this is something that popped up in the last couple weeks. I did a Facebook Live video about it, but it's a way I haven't really looked at this, and yet it felt really quite correct. And that is, what if, okay, we've been living our lives with a series of beliefs that we are alive, moving through space and time with a story, trying to wake up, trying not to die, scared of death, scared of everything. And all of that feels like intuitively true. It's reified and codified and perpetuated by complicit society. So anybody you talk to, that's what the assumption is that we're living beings moving around doing our thing, right? So what if, just entertain this for a moment, not so much with your mind, but feel into what I'm about to say, which is, what if all of this has been kind of pointing at a deep truth? And that is that you and everyone you know and everything that you think is here is already dead. And this is just a way of speaking, but if you were already dead, then what is all this? Right? What is this if you're already dead? And all of this is like sixth sense trying to show you that you aren't. You just aren't. Then what is this? Is it the same thing you thought before you realized you never were? Can you say a word about it? Does the whole thing start to feel like a cosmic joke? The funniest thing in the entire universe is that it never was. So what is all this then? So in many spiritual traditions, they talk about losing the self, dying before you die. Sort of, I've said things like life is lifing itself, like there's just life. What if that's totally wrong? What if there's nothing that can die because there never was? Then what is this? And the mind will be like, but how can I, if I'm dead, how could I, what is this? Is this a purgatory? Like, no, forget all that. The mind just goes, stop, never existed. You never were. You never are. What is this? Then you just have to laugh at every word every guru has ever said about anything, because it's like, yeah, they're kind of pointing at it, but not really. Even the people online that talk about you have to die and I died, and they talk about themselves in the past tense as like a third party character and all of this, it's like, this is just, no, you never were. You're already dead. So what does that mean? And you don't have to believe this, because if you don't feel it as actually possibly true in the deepest sense, as the only thing that's true, then that's fine. Don't worry about it. Go on doing your thing. It doesn't matter at all. But if you're one of the like 4 people here that are probably like, and I can tell you like how this arose is, I've talked about this before. My wife and I were talking about how different we are in terms of like yin and yang. Like we really are complementary in this way and quite different in this way, which is that her primal fear is annihilation, is death, because her primary movement is to enmesh and love everything that is. She just wants to be, loves all of this. And my primary movement has always been like, this is too much. It's painful, it's unsatisfying, it's uncomfortable, it's suffering. I want to dissolve into nothing, awake nothing. I don't really want to disappear, but I want to dissolve into awake nothing. And so these opposite movements. So she's afraid of the void, and I'm afraid of the manifestation in a primary sense, the way that it seems this is wired. So the other day we were sitting and she was going through this thing, and suddenly she was like, you know, sometimes I feel like this whole manifestation is just here to show me that I'm already dead. So what was it that I was afraid of? I'm not. I'm just not. I don't exist in that way, in any way, and neither do you. And I was like, and then she just started laughing. And for the next hour, we just started laughing because we realized every sign and signal has been pointing to this truth. And when you feel it, you realize the absurdity of the whole thing, the whole spiritual quest, the whole trying to live this great life, all of that. If you're already not, then what is this? And that's where the laughter comes, because it's like, oh, you can't say a word about it. The words just don't matter. It's just, you see me talking because what else is Zubin gonna do? Yeah. So I'm curious what you guys think. Can't really think about it, but it's made me continuously giggle for the past week and a half or so. And my wife's fear of death just evaporated. Later, it came back a little bit because we were feeling into this. It's like, so what is it that prevents us from seeing that we never were, that we aren't, that we're already dead? What is it that seemingly prevents that? And it's like, well, look at this. What is this? It's a total mystery, but it can show up apparently as a cloud of forgetting. So it's almost like this appearance shows up as the forgetting itself of the only truth, which is that nothing is here. Nothing. No consciousness. Nothing. And somehow nothing shows up like this. Would that be possible? Not for the mind, not for thought, not for logic. But you know, as Obi-Wan once said, trust your feelings, Luke. You know it to be true. For some people, they might know this. For me, I did. And afterwards, she asked me, so is this what you've been trying to point at? And I'm like, I would never have said it like that, because I think it's triggering, because people will take that word dead and make it in relation to what we fear, which is that we're going to die, this annihilation. It's like, no. It's not that you're already dead. That's the way of saying it, but it's that you never were. Nothing was. And so then what is this? This is nothing showing up as this. Now, people will say Zubin's crazy. He's on drugs. Nope. I mean, I may be crazy. Certainly not on drugs. So it's so funny. People talk about like, oh, you know, even in Zen, they talk about the great death. What if the great death can't happen because you're already dead? What if all this seeking is like just to show you that it's futile because you aren't? You just aren't. What if every spiritual tradition is like, trying to dance around the fact that there's nothing here? Not in a nihilistic way, because nihilism implies that there's a human who feels nihilistic. There's nothing. So then what's left? Can't say a word about this. Except I could say it feels like freedom, like a dance of nothing. Tanya says, I promise I'm not triggered. I'm only trying to grasp and get caught up. So what did Tanya say earlier? because I need to see what she was saying. Hi, Tanya. Tanya is a supporter. Oh, it's hard to see the older comments. Let's scroll down here. Ryan Smith says, Z-Dog is in a superposition of many states in an other ethereal plane. Yeah, or Z-Dog isn't, just isn't, and neither are you. So when none of us are, what is? It'll just make you laugh. Oh, Delia says, Dr. Z, nothing is everything. Nada is nada when we die. When we die. So who says you're not dead? Who says that? Can you prove it? That with anything that isn't a thought or a belief, and even those thoughts and beliefs. So if you're already dead, just play the game. If you're dead right now, you're dead. You don't exist. You never did. What is this? What is this? The mind will stop like that. It'll stop. And it's just indescribable, unknowable, nothing showing up as everything. And that doesn't even make sense. And it seems as simple as that. So we were laughing and laughing, going, all this nonsense, video after video after video after video after video. How do you wake up? How do I relieve suffering? And that's all great. That's all this. It's all the cloud of forgetting showing up. And there's nothing there. That cloud is empty. It's nothing. It's this. It's just mystery, total mystery. But what if you're already dead? There's no death. You haven't died. You never were. You're already dead. Then what's this? What are your loved ones? What's the whole thing? But a dance of nothing, indescribable, and absolutely perfect. Hi, let's see. Blazing Stars says, on the upside, this lady will go home and tell her partner over dinner how this guy came in and told me I'm beautiful inside. What are we talking about? Why am I missing these comments from earlier? Let's see, there's too many. The energy inhabiting the Z-Dog meat suit did some ayahuasca. I mean, I did that a long time ago, but that didn't show me this. I'll tell you, I've done all the psychedelics in the past. I've done shows about it. They never showed me this. This is the root, as far as I can feel, and I don't know anything, because this is just flapping whatever this is, nothing, zoom in. The only thing that needs realization is that you aren't. Then all of this becomes like whatever. You want to think it's all energy? It's all energy. You want to think it's all love? You want to feel it's all love? Sure. Nothing can show up as everything. Nothing for most apparent humans shows up as a cloud of forgetting that you never were. And that cloud thinks it has a story and a life and an identity and a future. And what happens if that cloud relaxes by some grace that's uncaused? Then there's just this mystery. Perfectly mysterious for no one, and never has been anyone. And then the kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth, yet men do not see it. Krista, our Greek vampire, says, I get it, but I couldn't share this with anyone, with just anyone. Right. So I told my wife, because I did a Facebook video the other day where I was like, maybe you're already dead. And she was like, you told people that? And we laughed. We're like, they're not going to like that. And they're also not going to understand, most people, because it makes no sense for the mind. Or they'll turn it into a sixth sense. Oh, I'm dead and I'm a ghost. No, you aren't. You're nothing and always have been nothing. And then what is this? So it's a question to you, a koan, a little Zen riddle. if you're already dead, then what is this? Now that's a triggering thing. That's why I put a trigger warning on this. So either you'll think I'm crazy, you'll discount it, or you'll be fucking triggered. Either way, it doesn't matter, because you aren't. You just aren't. There's nothing there. And when you really inhabit that, for me, there's just laughter. For my wife, there's just laughter. And then perplexity that anyone would ever think otherwise. And yet we know that the cloud of forgetting can reassert itself. And it has occasionally for both of us where it's like, ooh, no, I feel real. We were talking about it the other day. We're like, I feel real as fuck. I feel alive. I'm scared to death. And like, yeah, that happens, doesn't it? It's like a little, nothing shows up as fear of death. Nothing shows up as identity. Nothing shows up as me. But the root, dirty little secret of the entire universe is you aren't. You're already dead. What if you're already dead? Then what? I'm glad, Sarah, you got some perspective. Blazing Star says, if you think you're dead, it must just be lack of humor. You don't know. It's not about thinking you're dead. It's about knowing that you have always not been. And then you just laugh. Then everything's funny as fuck. Because everything that everybody talking about, you're just like, there's war in the Middle East. What's going on in health and human services? What's it? It's like, bro, look at this. This is nothing showing up. Like, that'll make you shit the bed. You just laugh constantly. Dawn, who's a supporter, says the eternal now. That's a lovely sentiment, but I'd ask again, what is this if you never were, if you were already dead? Do we talk about now? Do we talk about then? Do we talk about future, past, present? Can we? Or can we just go? We can do all those things because this is just appearance. It's fine. You can talk and talk and talk. I love to talk. I will say even though it's known this is total mystery. There's no Zubin, never was. And yet the cloud of this appearance makes it feel like there's a Zubin who has a life. How beautiful, how crazy, how magnificent, until there's a shit ton of suffering. Then it's like, this feels very real. For who? Let me look and see if I can find me. And then it's just a whirlpool down into nothing. The nothing that we fear. We seem to fear this abyss of nothing, of just empty nothing. True nothing. I'm not talking about awake presence. I'm not talking about God. I'm not talking about consciousness. I'm talking about nothing. Absolute zero. And it turns out, absolute zero shows up like this. Because it can't not. That's what it seems like. I don't know. Can't know anything. That's the other thing you realize. You can't know a thing. You can know stuff in the storyland, in this like story, in the cloud of forgetting. You can know all the things, except to remember that you aren't. That you can't do when you're in the cloud of forgetting. Because you are the cloud of forgetting. So what are you? What are you when you're already dead? And there's this. Well, you could say a lot of things. They'd all be wrong, but you could say, you're this. That's all there is. Because when nothing's like this, what else could you be? And when you die, when this dies, where does it go? Where could it go? Ramana Maharshi, one of the most revered Indian sages of the modern era, said this when he got cancer. People were all like, oh, Ramana, you can't leave us. And he's like, where the hell would I go? He knew this. He just called it something different. Instead of saying, I'm nothing, he said, the self is everything. So he just framed it for the positive because it sells books. That's the other thing. My wife and I were like, nobody talks about this. Nobody points to this direct truth because it doesn't sell. Like, how are you going to start a religion that says you never were? How are you going to get people to click on your video when you say you don't exist? You're already dead. And I'm not, and see, this is the thing is, and they're not trying to sell you something. They're not saying, oh, this is the end of suffering, or your life will be perfect after this, or you'll have super psychic powers because you'll realize the truth. There's none of that. No, there's the cloud of forgetting. There's nothing showing up like this. And there's the complete unknowability. It's a total blackout, a total other dimension of nothing. And that's the root truth. And then everything from that. So either you can be here, which is fine. You can be this, which is fine. Or you can be nothing or anything in between. It's a total fluidity. But it don't sell. It don't sell cult members. It don't sell books. It don't sell videos. I am not going to get laid because I'm saying this, including from my wife. Because we both look at each other like, what the fuck? Actually, what's funny is when we both, I had this no self understanding, but for her, it was relatively new and abrupt, the full like dropping out of that. And we both look at each other and it's like, dude, like I actually feel like I want to live even more and do everything even more than before because there's nothing at stake in any true sense because you're already dead. Now, that doesn't mean that you have this sudden desire to go murder people or behave in ridiculous ways because it just does. There's a natural compassion because you know what it's like to suffer. You know when the cloud of forgetting shows up, when nothing shows up as a cloud of forgetting, meaning life. The Buddhists call it samsara, the manifest world, the veil of tears, this. When that shows up, we know what that's like. It fucking sucks when it hurts. It's cruel, actually. It's like nothing is cruel to nothing when it shows up like that, and yet that's the texture of nothing. So your apparent heart just blows open. And you can't but love all beings. It's totally paradoxical. How can something that's dead and never was love all beings? This is the magic of nothing being nothing and nothinging. When you realize you're already dead. It's cool, bro. Oh, boy. Let's see. Mike says, this is infinite outside of time and space. This is nothing and everything. There are no words for this. Why? How could a caterpillar have any way to describe their life as a butterfly? Yeah, that's a beautiful way to say it. I've heard that said before. From here, it's total bullshit. Really, because that's all great. That's all like nothing, everything. Yeah, I get it because we have to talk, right? We have to use words. So that's about as good as you can get, but it's total bullshit. It's total horseshit because the truth is you just aren't. That's it. That's it. That's the only truth. Everything else we say is flowery nothing showing up as flowery nothing. And it's fun. And it can be helpful for relative in the cloud of forgetting. We can live better. We can feel more like a butterfly, an awakened being. We can have that sense that everything is consciousness or love or God. And that's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, actually. I would never argue with it. But from here, it's felt that the truth is just, nope. And it's a huge relief for this body mind. It's a huge relief. Don't know why, but it is. For my wife too. It was like, whoa. So she goes to work, does her thing. I do my thing. What else is there to do? Because this is the other realization. It's like, oh, you're already dead. What else is there to do? It's pretty funny. Pretty funny. So Freddie says, what are our memories from? So first of all, I can tell you, I know nothing. I can't tell you anything about anything. I'll just say memories. Nothing showing up as memories that make it seem in a cloud of forgetting that we had a past as an alive person that's going to die with organs and skin and a brain and eyes. Why wouldn't nothing be able to do that? It's perplexing to the mind. There's nothing you can say about it. And yet it's realized, like, oh, yep. Now, of course, that could be an illusion too. I can't say that's not. I can't say anything. That's a relief too. I can't say anything with any, like, I can't believe anything anymore. Beliefs can arise and I'm like, yeah, I believe that you should probably vaccinate your children for measles, mumps, and rubella if you don't want to get measles, mumps, or rubella. Like, I can believe that. But that's just an appearance in this cloud. So that's fine. Got to live life, maybe? Maybe? Don't got to do anything. But what else is there to do? So it's like we go about. We see friends, we hang out in cafes, we eat food, we raise our children. I don't need to tell my kids they're already dead. They got to fucking live. Let them go live. They already know dad's crazy. Ron says, you'll forget about it soon enough and come up with another what if. You know, Ron, I can't say you're wrong. Because that's the other realization is like, I don't know anything. 2 days later, I may be like, no, totally, we're absolute flesh and blood and it's totally compatible with that. Why not? This is not saying kind of, gosh, how do I say this? This has nothing to do with what I think material reality is beyond saying, what if you're just dead? What would this be? And is it consistent with everything you experience? Or even is it that everything you've ever experienced in life has been pointing at this? That was the first step of her sort of snapping, was like, I feel like this whole world was created to show me that I'm already dead by giving me a fear of death. And I was like, that's a cute story. And then a little more time, and then she was like, I am already dead. I was like, so what's that? And then it was just laughter, snorting laughter. And laughter at all the gurus too, because it's like, Jesus, these guys, they talk and talk and talk like, I died. When so-and-so died, realization was happening. What died? You never were. What is this accomplishment of dying? Like, it was perplexing and hilarious. Like, just hilarious. Like, and none of it matters at all. And yet, make it matter if you want, because nothing is doing this thing. By the way, every word I'm saying, you have to understand they're words. So they're not going to come close to describing the territory of the realization that you aren't. That is a deep realization, It's right here, fuckers. Like, it's just it's been staring at us. Like, it's so funny. It's been staring at us this whole time. Eternally. This truth. That's it. You can't even look for it. Because what's looking? The same cloud of forgetting. Holy crap. Hi, Doc Vicky. No matter what, we are just thinking about what is, we experience, and assigning words. Yeah, that's right. Because we can't, what are we going to do? Mike says, interesting that a caterpillar seems to die as a pupa before emerging as a butterfly. So yeah, the caterpillar thing is a great analogy for like the kind of awakening thing. Caterpillar doesn't know what's going on. It ends up dying, reabsorbing, transforming into butterfly, which it could not have comprehended before. And the butterfly can go talking to caterpillars and be like, hey, you're a butterfly, you just don't know it yet. And the caterpillar's like, But even that is like, nah, none of that's true. It's just, you aren't. And what is this if you aren't? Before the mind can say anything, it's just like, I used to say is lifing, right? Which is fine. The inverse of that, though, is nothinging. And that is equally If you're using words, it's the same thing. Sue says, we're the ground of being dreaming. So that's a nice story too. I can't find any ground of being. It's like there's absolute zero. If that's what we're calling the ground of being, I'm all in. I mean, I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know anything about the actual nature of anything. I just know there's no, I can't, there's not this. So then there's, and that's just experiential realization. I don't know. I don't have a word for that. I don't know what it is. I'm not a fucking teacher. I'm just fucking, I have this platform, so I'm just gonna bat because I feel like doing it. I don't know why. It's probably not a good idea. Let's see. Kara N says, this sounds so freeing. Don't let it sound freeing to you, Kara. Look, feel, relax. I don't know how to do it. Look, if you, okay, I gotta open a fucking window because it is hot. Hold on. Hot, 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 hot. Another window. Now we'll get a cross draft. So how do you make this realization occur? How does nothing into nothing? It seemed like, if you look back at our stories, it's like, oh, there was meditation, there was self-inquiry, there were books and books and books, there was awakening, apparently, first awakening, there was all this story that you can tell. But ultimately, it's like, it's realized ultimately that all of that was just the dropping away, emptying out. And you can't even say that. Just to remember that you aren't. Really know it. Like, oh, yeah, okay, great. So I don't know how to do that. That also doesn't sell books, clicks, retreats, satsangs, fucking nonsense. It's also fine. It's totally fine. Don't get me wrong. Or get me wrong, it doesn't matter. It's just, there's a kind of click where you're like, oh, that's great. But there's just one thing, no thing. That's the root. Then anything that comes from that is totally part of the nothing. It's great. Not a problem. Even when it's a problem, it's not a problem. So Kara had said, this sounds so freeing, and that's right. But don't let it sound freeing to you, Kara. Just relax. Just relax. That's all. And then see. Who knows? I mean, I don't know how to advise because I don't know what this is. It's unknowable. You can't do anything about this. That's the other great piece of news, guys. You can't do anything. This is why you can't have a religion that says this. You can't have a science that says this. You can't have a TikTok video short that says this, because people will be like, wait, what? I don't know, swipe. It's like Tinder, man. I'm swiping the way that I don't have sex with that. I don't know, because I've never used a dating app, because I've been married for many years. Anyone want to teach me how to use a dating app just for fun? That'd be fun. Grindr? Is that a thing? Let's scroll down. Brian Schultz. It's interesting how this stuff is always changing. Randomly got into an energetic thread a few months back, and it's been so powerful. Just let it go. That's perfect. So we talk about these threads. That's just a model. It's another way of speaking. It's another way of just blah, 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 blah. That's fine. Like, I found it fun, helpful in a sense for the mind in the cloud of forgetting to kind of just accept what's happening. That's one little bit of sabotage that maybe you could do. Here's a little bit of sabotage. Accept whatever's occurring fully, but never believe it to be truth at the deepest level, because it's all just appearance. So if energy shows up, man, feel it fully, let it go. Don't resist it. Don't try to jump into mind and push on it. That's just, blah, blah, blah. But let it be what it is. Let it be what it is. But don't take it too seriously either. Just be like, okay, energy. Woo. This morning, My wife and I were sitting across from each other meditating. We don't meditate anymore. We just kind of sit and stare at each other. We just sit. We get up, we have coffee, we're like, let's go sit. And you sit. Whatever's happening seems to happen. And both of us were like jumping out of our skin, and I'm like, oh yeah, this energy happens. For me, it shows up as, often shows up as a bliss quality, like love, bliss. It just shows up like that. So that's kind of the energy thread. But now it's all suffused with this deep, kind of deepening realization. I don't know if it's possible to deepen because it's kind of binary. It's like you realize that you aren't. You can forget in any moment, absolutely, because the cloud of forgetting, nothing showing up as this cloud of forgetting is so compelling. It shows up as a being that thinks it is alive. What a miracle. And that's totally fine. There's no reason it should be otherwise, is there? Why? Unless you're kind of into that shit. Or you're suffering a lot and you're like, well, no, I don't like this. I'm like, well, there's the truth. The truth shall set you free, because there's no you. There never was. Gone, completed, beyond. Beautiful comments, you guys. This is like Facebook Awakening channel, Instagram Awakening channel, my supporters, and then the rest of YouTube that are probably like, what about the jab, Z-Dog? Are you going to apologize for recommending that sick, chronic disease people get the jab? Oh, man. Blazing Stars. It's staring at us, but we're rabbits in headlights. Yeah, we are the cloud of forgetting. We are that. This is the cloud of forgetting when it tells us I'm here and this is a thing and I'm alive and this is this and my friends and the people I hate and the Israelis and the Iranians and the blah, the blah, the blah. That's the cloud of forgetting, and that's what's in the headlights. But there's nothing there because you're already dead. So this is just it's a lot of fun. It's more fun than any person should ever have. Freddie says, would trying DMT help comprehend this? I mean, I've done all that stuff. I didn't comprehend this using that stuff. That showed me where I'm holding all kinds of resistance to my own body, resistance to past trauma, psychological, unconscious, apparently unconscious material would arise. There would be occasionally the sense of everything's nothing, but it wasn't like this. So some people do get that realization, but wasn't for me. I think those are tools for, I don't know what they are. I mean, let's be honest, I don't know what they are. If you want to do it, great. You know, I did a video on my experience with 5-MeO-DMT, Salvia divinorum, ayahuasca, all that. That was last year. It's fun too. It can be fun. It can be terrifying. You can have terrible, challenging experiences, but if you have a good guide and you're processing it, there's a lot of apparent growth from that. And who knows what energetically is happening, but honestly, ultimately, it's like, shut the fuck up. Stop fucking trying to hide from the fucking truth that's in your face, that's always been here, which is you aren't. You're already dead. Fuck the sixth sense. This is like the 10th sense. And that's my 10 cents. Brian says, psychedelic-assisted therapy is life-changing for some people. Sure, it'll change your life. The cloud of forgetting that is your life, it will absolutely affect that. And that's beautiful. Just like therapy, just like other things. I'm a fan. I am absolutely a fan. And I've done all the things for the life. For realization, trickier. Salvia was the closest thing, actually. Because when I did Salvia divinorum with my guide, existence stopped, like fully stopped, and then reformed itself, like a true cessation, like as the Buddhists talk about. Theravadan Buddhists will talk about cessation, the end of fabrications, absolute zero. That is the root, nothing. And you can't experience that, but when it happens, apparently, when mind comes back, it's like, it kind of recoils and it watches the universe reform, the fabrications, the nothing showing up as this starts to reform. And you viscerally know that, oh, there's nothing here. And actually, gosh, what am I doing? I'm lying to you guys. Like when I did 5-MeO-DMT, I had the same realization. It was like all this light show and these resistance and, oh God, no, I'm dying. And then it was just like, whoop, for me, pop, giggling, nothing's going on. Nothing's happening. It's showing up like this. I wouldn't have said, I'm already dead. That language wouldn't have come out. It would have just been like, there's nothing. Isn't that great? But that realization doesn't, for me at that time, I'd already kind of had that realization through meditation, inquiry, whatever, through nothing, through just fucking how this is showing up. I don't know. I'm not doing anything. So that just kind of confirmed it. That's why we call that video the unjourney, because you're not really going anywhere. You're not finding anything out that isn't right in front of your face. So that's how it was for me, but your mileage will vary because your cloud of forgetting is different than mine, apparently. Ron says, so when you name the nothing, it becomes a something. Yes, that's the problem, Ron. The minute we talk about it, it's not what we're talking about. So you can't imagine it. Just, I mean, I guess I could point a little bit. I don't know if it'll work, but we can try for a second. Like, what do I mean by nothing? Just close your eyes and feel your body sense what you're calling body. And just notice what that is. Is anything really there? Can you pin anything down? Dancing sensations, you have all kinds of words, but what's really there? What is it happening in and as? And see, it's really hard because then you can look and you can feel and just go, oh, it can just click. Oh, that's what nothing is. But see, even just talking in this way makes it a something, makes it something you're looking for, something you can find, not just the root of everything. It's just impossible. So it's a kind of a, I don't know, I can just say that it just becomes clear. I don't know. There are a lot of people who talk about this. I don't trust any of them anymore, but I do think, I don't trust because it's not my experience. So I cannot line it up with my own experience. So you have to see what shows up. Can't trust my words. Please don't. Don't believe anything I say. I'm just in, this is just flap hole. Absent Orange says, thanks for mentioning the Windup Bird Chronicles. Awesome read. Oh, one of the greatest. Haruki Murakami, the Windup Bird Chronicle, just stunning. And it's about identity. And a lot about violence, death, ancestral trauma, collective unconscious, very Jungian stuff. It's great, very entertaining, and a lot of sex in it. Sexy sex too. Japanese, they know how to do perverted shit, apparently. Universal Spec says, thank God for neuroplasticity and the ability to rewire the thinker. Sure, that's all this though. No thinker, no rewiring, no plasticity, all story, all appearance, all nothing showing up as neuroplasticity. So what if the neuroplastic one is already dead? Never was. Then what's neuroplasticity? Fun time. Hi, Sue. Nothing makes sense. It's a good time to ... And then the comment trails off. Hang on. Let's get, I'm way back on the comments. You guys are throwing up so many fucking comments on the live chat. You're amazing today. You're on fire for not being alive. It's pretty amazing. Flint says, you're leaning into the space of freedom you've constructed. It's wonderful for you, but also contradicting. Oh, it's all contradiction. It's all paradox for the mind, for the speaking mouth. So yeah, if you feel that, then you're onto something. Lisa says, So do you just basically live in a dream state, not believing anything true or what's going on is really happening? No, absolutely not. No. So this is what it's like right now for me. At any moment, everything can be as real as it is for anyone. Like just totally solid me going and doing shit. Go to the line, order a thing, da 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 da. And then a second later, it can just drop into radiant, nothing, nothinging, no center, no doer, no nothing. And it's not even that those are sequential. It's felt that there's no sequence. So they're simultaneous. Like a quantum superposition. I hate to use the word quantum because that fucking douche canoe Deepak Chopra talks like that. Oh, you know, he's selling a lot of shit. My parents are from India, so I can be like, I can make fun of him quite directly, Deepak. You know you're bullshitting. You don't know the truth. You've never realized that you aren't. You're like, everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. That's very helpful for people in the dream only, but not so good for truth. Because you know, Deepak, the minute you tell them the truth, they will leave you because they don't want that, because they can't realize it yet. They're still here in the cloud of forgetting. And you know this because the cloud of forgetting is where the money is, Deepak. That's where you sell the books. That's where Oprah lives and puts you on the show along with Eckhart and all these guys. Eckhart, who says, you know, everything is consciousness. Wonderful, very helpful in the dream state. Lovely. But for truth, if you told them, but I suspect you don't know, but I can't know what you know because you aren't. That was fun. That was cathartic for no one. But yeah, so it's a superposition, nothing happening, and absolutely real. And anything on that spectrum is how it feels here. And I suspect that's going to change because I don't know what's going to happen. This is a total mystery, a total black box, total unknown, total blackout. Deepak. Robert Lindsay says, what do you think of Sam Harris? So Sam is a friend, virtual friend. And he was my gateway drug for awakening stuff. He made it okay for a atheist. By the way, I don't consider myself an atheist anymore because I cannot believe in anything, including the lack of a God. So their belief just doesn't make sense. Sam is a lovely human. He's a thinker and an explainer and a questioner, and I love him dearly. So that's what I think of Sam. I think his book, Waking Up, A Guide to Spirituality Without Religion, was my gateway to the whole rabbit hole. But it's strange because I can't really believe in causality, so I don't know that anything causes anything. But I would say that, yeah, I love Sam. He gets a little political. I don't like that. He takes this samsara a little too serious, but that's how the wiring is. So I can't complain about that. Yeah. Ron says, you're an ist. There you go. Let's see. Bye, Jennifer. Flint K. Napping Tip says, how do you avoid your huge subverted ego? What a great question. You don't. You see my ego. You can see it, right? You can feel it. And it's not my ego. It's egoing. You can feel it when Zubin takes a shit on Deepak Chopra. Zubin is creating a separation. He's saying, I am not that I don't like. That's ego. So where does ego go? No fucking where. You don't get rid of ego. You just never were. So ego is another one of these fucking mysterious appearances that's going to continue doing what it does, apparently. Nothinging. So Zubin's ego is right here for everyone to see. The difference maybe, and I'm not even sure this is true, for pre-Zubin, like of 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, would be the complete inability to accept that, so resistance, and also some degree of inability to see that. And I would say like the psychedelics may have helped a little with that. Meditation more so though, and then therapy helped a lot. Internal family system therapy helped a lot with that. Being able to see where those parts are that are trying to hijack a sense of separation and doing and all that. And it's all right here. I mean, you see it. You can see it. That's why you say huge subverted ego. It's just not really subverted anymore. It's just allowed. You know, if you watch the Threads video that we did, I think Pierce talks about it really well when the psyche thread is fully, you never fully finish the thread, actually, that thread, because it's always ongoing, because there's always stuff coming up. But when it's pretty highly traveled down, you don't travel down it. When it unfolds, largely, hard to talk about, it's just seen that the conditioning is all you are. It's just the dance of the conditioning. And so ego's egoing, that's fine. But there isn't a secondary loop of resistance, pushing and pulling, should be, could be, would be, ought to be, none of that. There's no autism, like it ought to be other. So that's the only difference. That's the other thing these fucking spiritual people lie to you about. Like, oh, you can transcend your ego. Nope. Good luck with that. What's transcending ego? Ego. What goes to war with ego, as my friend Angelo says? Ego. So it is what it is. Cyprian says, I fell asleep listening to you like 2 months ago. I felt like a central nucleus dissolved, and I waked up scared for 5 minutes like I was dying. Also, I felt myself splashed all over the place. Why? Don't ask why. That's it, though. Keep going. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about that, because that's just how that can show up. There's no causality. It's like, oh, you're listening to Zubin, and next thing you know, you feel like you're dying, and next thing you know, you realize you never were. It just is like that. You can't do anything about it. I can't make it happen for you any more than I could have made it happen for me, because I just don't exist that way. That's just, so it's a dance of nothing for nothing. Is it Arcana? Hi, Arcana. Dan says, who's a supporter, I think it's obvious that Z has an ego because he thinks he's right, but also I support that. We can all be right. Yeah, that's it, right? Like, it's like, of course I think I'm right because I feel it. It feels like a realization. But man, tomorrow I could tell you I was totally fucking full of shit. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, that's one thing that's clear. It's like, I've said shit. If I look back at my videos, it's a journey. It seems like a journey. But each time I thought I was right. So, who knows, right? Don't believe shit. Because it's all the cloud. It's all the cloud of forgetting. Even that's a story. It's a fun story. Let's see. Laura says, my grandmother passed and my mom had a dream about seeing her. They hugged and she asked where she was. She said, I'm safe, but if I told you where, you'd have to come with me. Oh, that's a beautiful story. And then Ron says, you never had an ego. I mean, and this is the other thing. You never had shit. So we think my ego. No, there's just this thing we call ego, which is just process. Process of selfing, process of, it's an appearance. So it's not your ego. You never had shit because you aren't. You just aren't. That's the realization. Now, again, don't believe me on that. If it shows up, it shows up. But you can inquire a little. You can be like, oh, what does that mean? Sometimes that can seemingly, I don't know, crack something. Who fucking knows? Dan says, life's strange like that. Opinions and thoughts always changing is healthy despite what people think. Yeah, that's a good way to see the dream state. Charlotte says, so what now? Do you quit going through the motions, let go of responsibilities, lay down to sleep? Oh, fuck no. Everything is just like happening. Like the guardrails are off the conditioning. It's very hard to hurt anybody because you realize what suffering is. You notice that, oh, it's that cloud of thinking you're real. So you have this infinite compassion just arises from no one and nowhere. and you just go about your shit, because what else is there to do? Where are you going to go? If you kill yourself right now, where will you go if you're already dead? So that doesn't make sense. Fear of death doesn't make sense, although it can arise, but it doesn't make any sense on a root level. It's like, so what are you going to do? You're going to fucking, this dance is going to continue. You're not doing it. Let it go. Don't try to resist it. You want to go fucking have dinner, eat a big ass pizza. You want to go lose weight, exercise, go do that shit. Lay down and fucking go to sleep. I wish. That'd be awesome. There's no getting out of this human shit. This apparent human shit. Because it's what's happening. No one's doing it. You can't stop it. You can't change it. It's fucking great. It's a huge relief. It really is. And it feels like, kinesthetically, it feels like love, for lack of a better way of talking about it. I don't like to talk that way because it sounds fucking hokey, but it is true for me anyways. It feels like that. Arcana says, so education question, is 34 too late to go for my PA? Ooh, we're changing topics. I'm not going to talk about medical stuff right now. I'm sorry, but it's not too late. It's just not. It's never too late because there's no time. So just do whatever is calling you. If the brain's telling stories, you can listen to the stories or not, whatever. It's all going to be fine, because the moral of this video. Cyprian says, is it possible to, okay, is it possible to Sam, is that right? To pretend to be a character just in order to influence the politics in a positive way? Oh, I see what you're saying, for Sam Harris. Sure, I mean, anything's possible. You'd have to ask Sam. Look, Zubin still cares about shit. Like this forgetful cloud that can arise cares about shit. Cares about the well-being of people. It cares about his family. It gets pissed. So could be that that's what's happening, or it could be that, yeah, he's inhabiting the role. Because Sam knows what no self feels like. It's kind of clear from how he points. But you never know. You never know anything about anyone else because you don't even know about you. Because you can't step apart. This is you. Man, these comments today are fan-fucking-tastic. I am so glad that I have a supporter tribe that, first of all, pays the bills, but also is so into this. And then the Facebook and Instagram awakening channels that you can join that are free. Those are people that are interested in awakening. There's 8,800 on Facebook and, I don't know, 500, 600 on Instagram, something like that. Robert, believe in determinism, sir. Don't even know that the question makes sense anymore. Because what's determining what when there's no causality? When there's nothing. So there's nothing. So this is all kind of like, what is this? How can I say whether there's free will, not free will? I could say there's neither free will nor the absence of free will. Maybe that's the best thing I can say. So I don't know what determinism means when nothing is happening. So my wife and I were talking about that too, like all the greatest questions of mankind. What happens after you die? You're already dead. Is there free will? For who? Is there a meaning to life? There's no life. There's just nothinging. So whatever you want, whatever shows up, it's ultimately empty of any substantiality, but that doesn't make it not feel completely real, which is the beauty of being a human. You don't get out of it. You don't get out of it at all. Alexa QQQ says, isn't everything the causality while also being simultaneously the caused? So that's probably a good way to use words to say absolutely nothing, because that's what you can say about that in my experience. So in the dream, yeah, there seems to be causality and it's all interdependent, like, dependent origination and all that. Like you have consciousness, then you have something that's perceived and they arise. But what is the root truth? That's in this world, this apparent dream world. That's great. The root truth is nothing is happening at all. So all the questions just fall. So in this world, you can say, yeah, it's interdependent, interwoven causality, but so what? This world as Buddha said in the Diamond Sutra, is a phantom, a dream, a flash of lightning, a dewdrop. Beautiful, but insubstantial. Jenya says, what do you mean life is not real? Okay, just throw the word real away, because real isn't real. What I mean is, what we're calling life, where we think there's beings moving through space and time, living out their stories, it can be realized that there's nothing happening at all. And so you can say there's no life, but there's also not no life, because the appearance is that there is life, and it can be experienced fully as living. And that is simultaneously felt. That's why this can't understand that. It won't. It's not designed for that. Its appearance itself, vibrating consciousness, as nothing. But right now, there's nothing. Like if I even pay attention for a second to the root of this, there's nothing happening at all. Nothing has happened, ever. Which is pretty fucking groovy, man. Ethan Rock says Schrodinger's cat had it right. Yeah, that motherfucker. Neither dead nor alive, or both. Exactly. Dan Riddick, so what is science to you then? Supporter Dan asks. Science is a story that seemingly explains this dream state with a great degree of apparent predictability, causality, and replicability. So it's lovely in a dream. It's like a dream thing that the dream dreams to make the dream make sense, which makes it a more compelling dream for no one and no reason at all. So I love science. I fucking love it. I love astronomy. I love biology. I love that shit. I don't take any of it seriously, but I love it. Love, love, love. Infinite Dreams of Shiva. Papa Viking. Yeah, it's a good way to end. All right, gang, I'm getting texted by my child who's on an exchange thing in Spain. So I'm going to respond to her because it's like God knows what time over there. And my wife's going to come home soon, so it's dinner time. And all these things are perfectly concordant with the fact that I'm already dead. Because what else is there to do but have dinner and text your daughter in Spain? Muchas gracias, mis amigos. Until next time, you guys are such beautiful humans. I don't know you, but I can tell by the comments that I would like you because you're my people, whatever that means. Fuck Deepak Chopra. The Zigo has landed. All right, guys, I love you. I love you, I love you, love you. And we are, oh, by the way, if you want to become a member of our supporter tribe, this is the pitch. We talk about Deepak Chopra angling for money. I barely make enough to pay for my studio fucking mortgage. So, and that's all supporters. So if you want to, $5 a month, support the show on YouTube, Facebook, locals, I'm not going to object. And it's a great group of people. We do Zoom meetings every so often, talk about our experience with this. All right, gang. Love ya.